We have a special guest with us today, folks. It's David Kier, like I was saying earlier.
There we go.
And it's all right. So we're gonna start, and this is being recorded. It's Thinkorswim. They take a platform and they inject steroids on it, and then when it gets fantastic, they decide to make it more fantastic and do new releases. So with that said, we first and foremost need to do a disclosure, folks. So if you could take a moment. Tonight's presentation is what's new on TOS. We plan on spending approximately 45-50 minutes. David's going to spend 30 minutes. We're going to walk through the platform live, some new changes. I'm going to share with you some of the changes how they integrate, or if they have affected the PPS buy-sell indicator, or shall we compliantly say the bullish-bearish momentum indicator, as well as the person's pivots with the coloring in the background. In addition, we'll take a look-see on formatting a scan page for you guys as just a quick reflection and a review, as we now will be ending the week and ending a month as we get closer into ending the year. So how we look for opportunities running scans on Thinkorswim, and if those new changes have affected it. So with that said, do remember that trading is risky, and this presentation is for education purposes. So with that said, David's going to go through, and I'm going to work through a platform, and of course on the screen here we have a few charts and some of my favorite indicators that I look at in trading. This is what I would call my day trading page for the E-mini S&Ps, the NASDAQ, the Russell, bonds, the Euro, some intermediate term spread charts, which we could talk about another time. And with that said, David, why don't you take over, my friend, and tell us what's new, what's different, and how it's improved.
Absolutely. So, thank you very much, John. What we spent a lot of time on in this release is, as you can obviously see, the look and general feel of Thinkorswim. What went into that was basically color changing, menu aligning, basically an overhaul of anything that is UI related. So anything that that you can see with your eyes but not touch. So anything that you touch, let's say for example John's the pivot points, or John scans, those are all the exact same. Where things are and how you interact with them, that should not have changed. What did change is the look of the platform. So the overall smoothness of the platform, the consolidation, like I said, of actions from one place to another. So if you're used to going to the trade tab and looking at a menu, we wanted that menu button. So yeah, let's click on the trade tab under all products. So you can see up at the top right there is a gear. So now we know gears will allow you to manipulate what's on the page to the right. Menus will allow you to act on that page. So if you click on the little menu just to the right of the gear, this will have anything you can actually do with the data on the page or with the page itself. And now that is aligned with throughout the platform. All the menu buttons are menus, all of the gears are controls, and so we went through the entire platform, found all of these differences, and aligned them. So it makes the use of the platform much better without actually making you guys learn something new. You don't have to go in and learn how to use Thinkorswim again, because it's the same exact Thinkorswim you've always been using. It just looks a little bit better, and then there's more of a unification or a usability upgrade. So we make things, like I said again, a little more consolidated, a little more streamlined. But one thing you will notice here that John's still actually on the brand new layout. So what I want to show you guys is how to manipulate this layout. John, could you put in a symbol here in the trade tab? Just anything that has options listed. Okay, perfect. So now at the top right, click on the setup. I don't know if it's being displayed on the screen, but at the top right of your screen, if you're on Thinkorswim, you'll see setup. Yep. And then now in here, application settings. So there's a new button within this menu. So under where we're at is we're on the general tab of this application settings, and you'll see a look and feel button. So do you see the look and feel button? Just click on that. And so now we have controls which weren't here before. We had these controls outside of the software. So before you logged in, you had to go to the little gear on the login screen to change things like color and text size. Now you can change those text size and color right here. And we also consolidated the colors down to just two. Before there were three colors, a gray and an off gray, and now we just have a bright theme, a dark theme, and then we also have this old school TOS theme for the those users who are feeling nostalgic. And so you can see that right now, let's just click on bright, and we have this checkbox that will show you high contrast. So if bright, is something you like, or if dark is whatever color you choose to use, if there's still not a drastic enough difference between the text and the background of any cell, you can come in here, click on high contrast, and we'll increase that difference between the actual text and the background of any cell. Also just below the font size, you can adjust here now, and that nothing really changed there, but we do have the ability to adjust it. And as you see, when we adjust it, down below is the preview. Will show you how big these things will be. So below font size, new feature called spacing. So let's say you wanted to fit as many items on your watch list or in a option chain as possible, you would probably want to use something like a small font and a very tight spacing. What spacing means is how much padding between the actual text and the tops and bottoms, lefts and right of any given cell. And so if you're looking at an option chain, if you're looking to bid and ask, there's a little bit of black space around those cells where the text delays. What we're doing here is we're definitely increasing, decreasing, depending on your setting, the amount of room you have. So you can get actually 33% more room on Thinkorswim than you were able to in the previous builds of Thinkorswim. And then of course we have the same controls you've always had in here, which are under the display, which are, if you hover over the menus, you can see the sub-tabs below that. But this is the meat of the software update. So if you want to come in here, and if you guys have noticed that things look different, the colors are white across the board, or the bids and offers aren't moving the same way, that's where you go in and you use old school TOS. So if you want things to look a little more like they did prior to the build, you would come into setup, application settings, and click on look and feel and choose old school TOS. And old school TOS is really just a color difference, and so no change in functionality, no change in how anything will work on the software, but you will see a little bit of change in colors to align with how they used to prior to the entire reskin. So let's go ahead and close this. If you need to adjust anything in here, please do so. This is it's much more flexible than it used to be, and so to go ahead and get our settings, and you can just cancel out of this menu. Perfect. So one important detail that I do want to point out, it wasn't a change, but it's an important look difference. So John, if you can just bring up, right-click in the option chain and just bring up an order to buy a vertical spread. Oh, you're on a vertical. So if you just click on the bid or offer, exactly. Anything here. Bring up an order ticket. Yep, that's a multi-leg order. Perfect. And so the order ticket looks a little different. If you haven't noticed, that's actually a good thing, because we don't want to change any behaviors in your day-to-day tasks. But what I do want to point out is the change of the look of the order ticket. So you can see that there's a difference between some of these cells on the order ticket, CELL cells. Like the word vertical is in a different color of green than just the space right below it. What this indicates is that if it's a different color, if it's a darker color, you can actually interact with that cell. If it's not, if it's that lighter color, that brighter color of green, you cannot interact with it, say for exactly the symbol. So here we can adjust the buy, the quantity, but we can't adjust the symbol. And so, this is part of that alignment to where, we used to have just kind of one flat looking order ticket that you couldn't, there was no indication of what you could do and what you couldn't do within the actual order ticket. And so this is one of the very small things that we fixed, but it's a very important thing because it's, it's the order. It's how you make your trades, how you make your money. Another thing that was kind of cool, if you click on actually in the price, so if you were going to manually adjust the price on the in the order ticket, so if you were to click on the actual 130, and so that's exactly right. I mean, we're displaying here what I want to display. The arrows, up and down arrows, were pretty hard to reach prior to the release, or hard to pinpoint specifically where you're clicking on. Now we have those arrows pop up and increase in size, so you can make sure that you can get the click on specifically where you want to click on. I see some questions popping up, so let me just see if I can address these questions real quick. What is the highest resolution the high contrast will work in? It will, we tested on a 4K monitor, so if you have it works on 4K monitors, so I would assume it works higher, but I don't know. I know it works on at least 4K resolution. Best way to learn TOS scripting language is at tlc.thinkorswim.com. Just our Thinkorswim Learning Center, and that's where, if you want to learn anything about the software, if you have questions, on the software specifically, on Thinkorswim, just go to the Learning Center. That's tlc.thinkorswim.com, and you guys can find help there. How can we make the white background on the chart? Yeah, and you can change your chart settings, in the settings menu, and none of that has changed. So where in the traditional way that you always adjust your chart settings, you can do so within the actual chart. Another feature that we actually added was here on the left. We've had a lot of requests over the years to actually allow you to adjust the left-hand side, or the sides of that left-hand sidebar. Now you actually can. So if you don't like that it's, open or closed, you can drag it to a certain point. Eventually it'll close by itself when it gets too small. But if you, just above that arrow, if you don't click on the actual, if you click right there, you can drag it to any size. So you can increase the size all the way to the right if you like, or, pinch it towards the left. But you have the ability to now, make this thing much, much bigger if you want. And so, these are kind of, what are considered small changes, because there's nothing new you have to learn. If you don't want to drag your left-hand sidebar, of course you don't have to. But you don't, it's intuitive enough that if you want to now, you can actually drag that left-hand sidebar left and right. But, in general, that's what we changed. We changed the ability to adjust your settings. We changed the look of the software, and in doing so, we cleaned up, a drastic number of lines of code, which makes the software, much more efficient across the board. And so we've seen an increase in performance. And so it's been an entire overhaul of the Thinkorswim software on the back end. What you're getting is a brand new look on the front end. So that's all I really have. So if you have questions, I am product manager of the Thinkorswim charting application. So if you have chart-related questions, if you have anything you want to ask while you got me, I'd be more than happy to help you out with any questions. But if you have Thinkorswim related questions you want to send, just send us to support@thinkorswim.com. Especially if you have suggestions, if you have changes that you want done to the software, features that you've seen elsewhere that you want Thinkorswim to incorporate, just shoot us an email. It's support@thinkorswim.com. Someone said, is everything 64-bit? We do have a 32-bit software. If you can, you have to log on to your TD Ameritrade account to find it, but we do have a 32-bit version as well now. MS says, bring back the STAD default colors. Go to support, or go to setup, application settings, and look at old school MS. See if you like it. We've had some complaints on Linux, Tim. So it's not the 32-bit software that's your problem. It's specifically our Linux installer. So we're working on that. If you, if you email us, we'd probably be able to help you out. But we're doing our best to support Linux. Just shoot us an email. Why am I getting a memory issue? Just update your memory. Just choose increase the memory, and you'll see that we'll help you with the memory. It's not an issue. What we did is, now when you would run, before you would run into a memory issue. So Thinkorswim would keep using more and more of your memory you allotted to it, or you would allow the application to use, and then once we ran to the maximum that you would define Thinkorswim to use, then the software would slow down and become unusable. Now, as we approach that limit, and you're still using the application, we're going to send you a message that says, please increase the limit so we can use the software can run better. So to upgrade your memory, you just click on, when you get the warning, you simply click on increase and restart. So there's not a lot to it. You don't need to increase your memory if you're not running into that error. If you do run in the error, it's a simple increase and restart, and you're good to go. Yes, it's so like I say, if you run into that notification to increase your memory, just do so. Yeah, if you have specific questions, we can definitely troubleshoot. Shoot us an email, support@thinkorswim.com, and we'd be more than happy to troubleshoot any problems, any questions you have. Let us know. Support@thinkorswim.com. We'll be more than happy to help you guys out.
David, there is a question that it's on pricing, and I believe PA, if you can see I highlight that question there.
Let me scroll up real quick. PA.
It basically
okay,
is
how
can I change a price without moving the arrows? And it's a real simple, and I can handle it. You just click on the price, and you can just change your pricing structure by just clicking onto the price, and then you can key in your new price. Unless, David, you got another way of doing it.
Nope, that's the way. And that works with any cell, any box you can type in, like this. You're on Starbucks, SBUX. It's the same way. Like you click in here and delete it, type over it, just like the price. What else are you seeing, John? Are there other questions? Questions fired off right there for a while. Now they kind of slowed down.
All right. So here's a good question. Just right after PA. Just after PA asked a question, it's on the options change in the shading for at the money, out of the money is barely distinguishable in bright mode. It's used it used to be easy to see. How can he change that? Nikki Steele.
I see that. So you can use high contrast. So high contrast should improve it, but it's going to be, if you're still unable to see, we might have to, so he's on bright and then on high contrast. So on dark, it's pretty easy to see, I assume, for him as well. So if you can't see it at all, just shoot us an example of your setup. It probably has something to do with the way it's rendering on your monitor. And so, you'll see here that, John's is clear, crystal clear, which ones are in the money and which ones are out of the money. So if it doesn't look right on your monitor, we might have to kind of troubleshoot to figure out what's going on, because I can assume we all see, that it's drastically different in color. This one's almost blue to black. The bright version is cream to white, and so it's if you're having problems, we might have to troubleshoot that as a one-off, Nikki. But good question. What else are we running?
Arsenic Grabowski says, I use 2 different grid setups. Every time I switch to another grid, I have to type the symbol.
So that's a pretty easy setup, because what we want to do, so I assume, John, let's go over to charts. And then this is your day trading view, right?
Correct.
So I don't know which specific thing he's talking about, but let's just show him real quick. Yeah, let's put in another one. So go into your grid, a different grid. Perfect. So John's looking at corn here, and that's because corn is linked to a watch list or something that has red. So John, let's show him real quick just how you link that up. You click on the drop down and you change this to red. And so let's say over on the left, this default watch list, you can do the exact same thing. So if you click on here, so expand your left-hand sidebar just a little bit, John. We covered up the link, and that may be the user's problem as well. So expand it to the right just a little bit. There you go. So now grab that left-hand sidebar, John, and let's just show them how linking works. Just drag it. I'm sorry, over on the left. Yeah, open it up and then drag it a little further to the right. Yep, exactly. There you go. So now just to the right of the symbol entry, where it says default, there's that same little link icon. And so if you change this to red, and then you change your symbol entry box on the chart to red, now they're always linked up. And so now you just save the grids, or however whatever you're referring to as the charting grid. And if it'll save, and it'll keep that link, and then it will always keep the charts. And you can see as John moves through his option chain, he's going to update any associated red tool, in this case the charts or the chart grid, whatever you're looking at. What else? What other questions have popped up?
So that was a really good question for someone that didn't understand that they can change or link their charts, and I hope that did answer the question, and it was right up there in the toolbar under either your watch list here, or you could have it on linked to your market watch page where you have quotes. So either way you have it, it's all universal. Is that correct, Dave?
That's exactly correct. So
I'm glad I got that answer right. I've used this before.
It makes it just so much easier to use to change symbols, and manage Thinkorswim, manage the software.
All right, so memory issues. Peter Nolan, that's a good one right there, because every once in a while we do get a memory issue pop up on the computer. So if anyone else has experienced that issue, Peter's asking, why is he getting memory issues?
So it's not really an issue. It's what I was trying to explain earlier is, as the software uses more and more memory, at some point it's going to reach the max memory that you've allocated to it. And so once it reaches that, it's going to send you a message that says, either you allow more memory to your application, or we will the software is going to freeze. And so now you just choose increase and restart, and then it restarts the software, and you should be fine. And you would give more memory to your software. And if you always run into it, or if you've given it like 16 gigs of memory or something crazy, and you're still running into software problems, just give us a call. And if you're not getting the message to increase, you just give us a call too, because we can help you with that as well. If you're having freezing, each of them is different. Every computer is different, and Thinkorswim is so customizable that every setup's different. And so just to answer that holistically, to answer it all as a one-off, is impossible.
So another good question is, it's fairly simple, and it's putting a specific option symbol into a chart.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if you go to the trade tab like John's doing, it's actually very easy. And you can do verticals or any spread you want as long as you do it in this manner. You just simply right click on the option that you want to add and choose send to, or more info on, sorry. Or yeah, you can send it to red, and then you can send it to TOS chart. So there's a couple ways to do it. If you have it linked, you can simply send it in the link like that. Or in that same right-click drop-down, you can send it to actually the specific chart. But yeah, if it's linked, it's super easy. You just send it to that link. If it's not linked, John's showing you if you right-click on any option, choose more info, and then on the right there's a TOS chart, and just choose whatever grid you want to pop it into.
But if you have it symbol linked on your chart, that particular chart, and we've already symbol linked it to red, then when you move around the platform and you want to track an option, a directional, or even vertical, as David said, simply right-click, more info, and you can go TOS, or you can send it to red. And at that point in time, go back to your charts, and that is your strike price. That is your option that you're tracking. And just change your time period if you're wanting to see what the, interval is for that option. Exactly. That was actually a nice, we used to, that's actually a pretty darn good question. A lot of people have that, from time to time that we get people, how do I track an options valuation? So.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, it's odd to me when people do chart options, but a lot of people like to chart them. I don't know if you choose too much, I don't know if you guys teach a lot of charting actual options, or do you kind of just stick to charting the underlying?
Actually, an old school, first options back in the day, we used to actually chart option valuation. So if you get an option with obviously a 30-day out to expiration within 3 days, 3-day theta decay is not going to affect an option with the underlying not really moving much, more or less 4, 5, 8%, right? So needless to say, we could track the changes of that and chart option valuations. That was kind of like an old school thing. Obviously, it seems to be a lost art, but there's with the increase in technology that Thinkorswim offers, there's other ways to get an idea of an options directional move with some of the Greeks and the studies out there. So, but no, it was something that you could do. And it is something to do. So anyway, there it is, Dave.
So someone said, can I sort my open positions of a particular underlying in the trade tab under the expiration date? Probably not. Probably the best way to sort your positions is if you, or to even view your positions from the trade tab, is the underneath the actual trade tab is a little drop down for or a little caret to expand and see your actual positions in that underlying. And so I don't know, you could sort this fields and you can sort, sort of look at it, but there's no real sorting of your options. They should be sorted by expiration, however you want to do it on the monitor tab. But from the trade tab, you should be able to see the positions you have open at the bottom of the actual page. Same for the charts if you expand it. But yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit.
Well, we had a couple people talk about the when David and I were flipping off the baton here back and forth, and I do appreciate the understanding from our guests, family, and friends out there about the audio. Hopefully the audio gets a little bit better between David and I flipping back and forth. There's so many questions out here. First and foremost, I think if everyone on Thinkorswim, if you've had an issue, the memory issue for one, the one thing that's the constant about Thinkorswim that's never changed is customer service. I mean, that's phenomenal, over the top. And if there is anything I do know about Thinkorswim, if someone ever had a question like, hey, I want this, or I need this, and I'd like this indicator, or I would like this added, it pretty much gets done. As David said today, if anyone had further questions and has a problem, like you have, just send them a screenshot if your resolution's poor. These are things that, not only do they take care of, but I don't know how, but I think the commercial on TV, we've all seen it, where they celebrate every holiday in one day. I think that really is true, actually. So the big Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween party is Saturday, and so therefore everyone will be available for questions all of next week. But David, do me a favor, if you would. You could also send us your questions, and we will, without a doubt, invite David for another event, because these are like really neat as we find out more and more issues clients get through certain things of how does it make that a more seamless and easier trading experience using Thinkorswim, and that's what it's all about, really. And so, folks, two ways of doing it. Obviously, you could shoot us an email, right? Jperson, Person's Planet. That's a real easy one. You got the email invitation. Two, I'm going to let David offer his email, and I'm going to type it in the room. But I'm hesitant of typing that all at once, David, because I don't want you to get a few hundred emails all at once. So anyway, I will put your email in the room if you would like me today.
Yeah, you can just put support@thinkorswim.com and just CC David, or just, care of David. There you go, Mary. And, everyone on that email chain, and actually I get those emails as well, and so that will get to me. If you have any questions, David Kier, Kier, let me know, and I'll address them personally.
Actually, that was me typing it. So it's support@thinkorswim.com. Mary typed it, I typed it, and it's David Kier as the beginning set. So we have a couple questions on how to include PPS, and it's kind of an interesting thing with the background and some changes here and running scans. So did anything really change with the background? First off, you can include pre-session, you can take out pre-session, we've learned how to take a symbol and link it to alphabetically on your watch list here on your sidebar, how to minimize it, maximize it, expand it. So a couple little things with the new, and once again, this wasn't probably, I don't know if it was in focus at the time, okay, if it was in focus or not in focus, but it's at the top of the bar. It says setup right there. So that setup, for those who like the new platform colors, great. If not, click on setup, application setting, go to look and feel once again, and then if you want old school, bang, old school right there. And for older folks who can't find their reading glasses, you can, right at that point in time, expand your font size. And I'm in denial, so I'm going to keep it at medium personally, and then hit apply settings. So what's really changed? Well, a couple with that, not much, except for with the gray, we can color change the person's pivots. That's not changed. And all you really have to do is go up to studies, and the next thing you do is you can just edit studies. But let's just say that on a chart you don't even know or have person's pivots. One of the things that we like to teach people is how do you integrate the right time frames, right? So if you're on a daily chart, you don't want to look at daily pivots. If you're on an intraday chart, look at daily pivots. I always like to look at monthly pivots with daily charts. So right now I've got a 15-minute chart with monthly pivots. So This just says that Avid Technologies, we just recently hit the monthly, pressing up against the monthly pivot resistance. The other day we actually got a little sell signal up there. And again, might be hard to see, so what do we do to change that size of the PPS indicator? Real simple. Go up to Studies, Edit Studies, click on PPS. Again, the little wheel, the cog. It's not quite a wheel, it's more like a cog wheel. And that gets us to change things. So the color of buy signals or you can go with the moving average. You go buy signal is blue, the width is 1. Change the width to a little bit bigger. Sell signal, the width is 1. Change that to maybe 3. You can change the colors to whatever you want. We've got orange, yellowish, and hit OK. Hit apply, I hit OK, and now I've just expanded, and now I can see that little arrow pointing down a little easier, which tells us there was a change in momentum from the last known signal, which was an arrow pointing up. Just as a reminder, these signals are generated on the close of the market, and it tells us there was a momentum change from downtrend to potential uptrend. The moving averages are there to help us trade against. If the market is in a bullish momentum, then the moving averages, as in an uptrend, should act as support. So again, PPS is one entire indicator, and person's pivots is an entirely different indicator. One is with the other. What's dynamic in Thinkorswim is the fact that they have this feature, unlike a lot of platforms or trading companies, they have a scan feature. When you click on scan, and I took the liberty to doing this prior to us coming here. Now, a few things here is interesting. We have, if you go up to scan, one thing that you can do is just simply, and it's probably universal with all of the columns or rows that you can change or add. If you right-click on the column, all right? Now, this is something that I do, and I teach people how to effectively use the PPS buy and sell signal. Besides looking for an area of what's generating a buy signal. So today's Thursday, and if you note over here, folks, I've got this drop-down menu. The time says week, right? I've already taken the liberty to change it to week. Ironically, it's a new month coming, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But if all things being equal, right now, if today was tomorrow, looking ahead, Thinkorswim is going to now just tell me what will generate a buy signal, what not did, but what will. If tomorrow, these names in the S&P 500, you will find up here how to do this scan system. You scan an S&P 500. Again, you can all kinds of categories that you can track and trade. In fact, I'm going to change S&P 500, and I'm going to immediately just go scan in all New York Stock Exchange stocks, and I'm going to hit scan real quick. I'm asking Thinkorswim scanning feature to tell me how many stocks in the NYSE will generate a new, fresh weekly buy signal on Friday, tomorrow, if prices are at this threshold. And it shows me that I only have 70 out of the whole shooting match of the NYSE stocks. Only 70 stocks are going to generate new weekly buy signals, right? So this would be interesting to have this column, and if we could sit there and say, gee, I don't have time to go through all these stocks one by one by one unless you actually know some of these names. But notice here by industry. Well, where did that industry come from? All right. So the industry is something that we're going to share with you how to populate. In the meantime, what I'm trying to share with you guys is that if you scroll down here, you can immediately see, let's see, pharmaceutical, chemicals, just by, casual observation, another chemical, real estate investment, wireless, capital markets, chemicals. I'm starting to find that I'm getting a lot of chemicals, materials. So if I wanted to dig a little bit better, what I can do real quickly is I want to go and look in scanning all NYSE stocks. I can actually go by industry, go into materials, and go to chemicals, select all chemicals, and now hit run that scan. And those are the big names that populated in all of the listing of chemicals. Now I've got a concentration of stocks that I can do a little bit more further evaluation of where I am looking for some buying opportunities. So that's kind of a dynamic way of finding out where the money flow is going. Is there a concentration so heavy of buying pressure in the market that it populates buy signals in specific sectors? I run this scan on a daily basis to find out what areas are giving me buying pressure and selling pressure. And by the way, since this is the end of the month, we can run a scan on the month instead of just going, by the way, these are the names Dow Chemical are generating fresh new monthly buy signals. But I can also look at all of these areas and run through this on Thinkorswim. So I did want to go through a couple more things with you real quickly, but first I want to say thanks to David for coming here and giving us your time. And David, if you want to say thanks to the audience, a lot of great questions and obviously pleased customers. It's always nice to hear that.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. It's a pleasure, John. Thank you for having me. And as I said, just email us any questions, problems, whatever you guys run into, please support@thinkorswim.com. If you want to get a hold of me, again, my name is David Kier. You can just scroll up the chat and see my name and email. But I do appreciate it, John. And like I said, I appreciate all the users as well. Thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Hey, great job, David. A lot of fun. Thanks, man. Thank you. All right. So in just looking through this, guys, the scan, first and foremost, I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to, let's go to, what do we want to look at? We can go to NASDAQ, but I'm going to go NYSE one more time. Just go through NYSE and find out how many new. In the NYSE, I've got 198 names generating new, fresh monthly buy signals. Now, some of these obviously are going to have some smaller cap valuation, like Armada Hoffler, which is a real estate investment trust. And we're finding, right off the top of the list, note that we got a lot of REITs, all the way down, REITs, more REITs down here. So we have a lot of new, fresh buy signals in REITs. And so that's kind of an interesting concept, even though today a stock like EQR, and I'm going to take a look at it with you here real quick. EQR. So on a daily chart, which is what a lot of people would look at, would say, gee, it hit pivot resistance, it's generating a sell signal, but John's running a monthly scan, so maybe we should change the chart from monthly to a daily to monthly. So change this over to monthly, and I look at this and I go, well, yes, it's generating a buy signal because it's breaking out and it has a momentum to the upside, no doubt. But one of the things that, as I would look at, I would want to see after a long downtrend, I would like to see a fresh buy signal. So that doesn't tell me that a lot of information on that particular scan, right? But at least I have an idea that there is a strong concentration of fresh buy signals so far coming in on a monthly basis on a lot of real estate investment trusts. And that's kind of, for me, kind of interesting because there's a concentration in that. Pharmaceuticals was secondary. I see some new fresh buy signals in that sector. And so by just looking without having any type of calculation behind it, I can see where the buying and the selling's coming in. So here's another thing that we can do. Let's filter out and learn how to filter this out a little bit. So we can go up here and add a filter for stock. So go up here and add a filter for stock. And the first thing that I'm going to look at is add a study filter. Add study filter. right? And as you can see, let me get rid of these other ones here. Get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this real quick. The first thing that populates by default, as soon as you hit Add Study Filter, it says ADX Crossover. So what we were saying earlier before, just as we were testing sound, I said, you know, I'm going to do this coming in here. They added this thing that I've been teaching for several years and writing about, is popularizing Joe Granville's indicator called on balance volume, and Thinkorswim added this scan in here. By what they've done though, on balance volume, and that's a whole nother lesson, but what it does is it just kind of gives you an idea of the trend of volume. And basically they have a default right here where it says if the on balance volume has increased, if you're looking for a buy signal, then you want the volume trend to increase, right? That gives me a little bit more substantial idea of momentum and volume and trade coming into that stock and possibly that sector. So basically I want to look at, you know, an increase over the last 3 consecutive bars. At least I want to go with 2, okay? At least 2. So instead of looking at a month on something like that, I would calculate the week and run a scan and find out how many names have actually generated or will generate new weekly buy signals with an increase over the last 2 weeks of accumulation in volume. And I'm running that scan, by the way. I'm running this scan here. Of course, as you see in, I believe we still kept it as all NYSE stocks. And ironically, we have now 52 stocks that will generate fresh new buy signals on the end of the week if we close here or higher. Now, you look through the names, and some of you might remember see Morgan Stanley, Monsanto, some of these names. But if you go on over here and say, well, what's the industry? What's the sector, right? And easily you can see is there a concentration? Once again, we already noted that there was chemicals. We have, hotel, software, food, chemical, a little media here. Oil and gas. So, you know, for this particular week, and then we'll find out if we get some more tomorrow, we'll find out. Here's one, a retailer called Tiffany, and I can't imagine at Christmas time people going out spending lots of money at Tiffany. Can you at the holidays? But anyway, Tiffany's may populate as a buy on an increase in volume. So now we have at least an idea that we've got a concentration of buy signals by an indicator. And ironically, or just let's be practical and say, well, okay, that's great. What if we go here to license study and we say, can we use this to find out what the breadth of the market is and how many sell signals we get? That would be interesting. How many sell signals are we getting? So comparatively, I can take a look at how many buy signals, how many sell signals I'm getting. And I'm going to, you know, if you hit that scan, notice that nothing's populating. Well, we're looking and asking this to run a sell signal on an increase in volume. Who wants that? That's not very good. So you get rid of the either increased or show decreased, right? So we want to see a decrease in volume. That makes sense. So that's putting together how many stocks are going down with a bona fide sell signal on a decrease in volume, or the trend of volume matching the market moving lower. And that's what the on balance volume indicator. And we have 44 names that will generate that over a daily basis. So, and here are those names. You know, some of these stocks are, you know, penny stocks, a 2-cent stock, 86 cents. So we have to really go through and kind of weed out the pricing structure or capitalization of those stocks. But what's really neat is that the PPS tool combined with a scanner does allow us to get a better idea of concentration of area rather than just whether or not we have a day trade set up with a buy or sell signal, which PPS is pretty good and reasonable to attain. So once again, looking at ways to trade the markets, I think great traders definitely, we don't just use chart analysis alone. And I think that a lot of people use too many of price-based indicators. A moving average over on their charts. They've got maybe Bollinger Bands. Maybe they're looking at moving average convergence divergence, otherwise referred to as MACD. They look at other indicators and tools out there. I think what we need is the right combination of non-correlated indicators, right? So a little bit of volume in there, a little bit of breadth in there. That's what I call market condition. A little bit of multiple time frame analysis. Instead of just focusing on daily, weekly, it does behoove us to look at the longer term picture, the monthly analysis. So just as a reminder, whether it's new school, old school format on Thinkorswim, okay, you know, coming up and running scans and finding out, and you know, where's the concentration of energy coming into the market by a defined tool that generates signals for us. And that's what the PPS indicator did. It gave us arrows, it defined whether, and it painted a picture on the chart, and it also will populate in your scan. What sectors are populating, and then you can look by industry and just go up to your toolbar to add that column, okay? When we combine the PPS with the person's pivots, and then have a third, so we've got two different indicators, a time price indicator, which is person's pivots, and a momentum indicator, which are the buy and sell signals. So if you get buy signals after market hits resistance, and even looking at the E-mini S&P, we can get an idea of if the market's formulating a higher high and a higher low, then we probably are going to get a lot more out of looking at buy signals. And then when the market hits near pivot resistance, maybe back off from getting, you know, buying. And if the market is showing an accumulation in trend to volume, as the OBV shares with us, it's an added dimension of looking at the market's true trend direction. So these are the things that we like to look at. I think it's important that we look at price condition and direction. And when you're trading options, I always have learned, and we talked about charting options pricing, something that we did way back in the day at First Options. Find direction and then apply the strategy. I think even people that say, well, I don't think the market's going to move. Well, you are a directional trader. You just are writing options and looking for the market not to move. And this has not been that type of market where it's not moving. Things are moving here. So I always remind people it's important to remember that options trading, it's about, and you know this as a Thinkorswim client, it's about probabilities, not certainties. So we've had a lot of stuff covered today, and I hope that today's presentation gave you some good insights. And what I wanted to say is, for a lot of you that are interested in my work, how can it help you? Well, first off, I think it's going to give option traders some superior analytical skills. It's going to give you true trend direction of the market. It'll give you a better idea if there's a concentration, if used correctly, a concentration of buying and selling pressure in specific sectors. That's not just good for an individual stock trader, it's also good for a sector ETF and an option trader. I think it will help all traders anticipate market opportunities, and it helps traders make trades based on facts, not an opinion. So looking at price and looking at volume and looking at trend direction is very, very important, and it helps the probability for you guys to get into better trades. And I personally think that this market has been, while not every trade's a winner, we all know that. I think if you have a system or an idea that a market should move, it should move within a prescribed period of time. If it doesn't, you know, there's the acronym of my favorite exit strategy. It's LMORFN, which means let me out right frickin' now. LMORFN. And that's what we want to see. How do we get into trades with little to no drawdown pressure, and we want to see immediate results? A lot of times we are getting these types of things, and I'm not talking about earnings season. So where we get that binary up-down type thing. So anyway, we do have a special offer for you guys. If you're interested in this, this is a incredible course that we put together for specific thinkorswim clients. This is our PPS indicator combined with Person's Pivots. It's normally on the website. It's there day in and day out, all day for $389. What I'd like to do is to introduce you to how to use this tool more aptly and correctly. Take this course. We're going to offer this for $237 plus 30 days in our trading room, which is regularly $150 a month. So that's over $300 in savings. It's fantastic. What we do is every Monday I come in with planning and scanning what scans came up, what sectors look strong, what stocks look great, whether we have high closed doji, low closed doji, another type of concept that we scan for. You'll get these email of my thoughts and observations on Sunday. We send that out Sunday so that our clients can prepare for the week ahead, and we go over it Monday morning. I'm in the trading room from 9 to noon. A lot of times I go over what sectors are going on, what we're looking at, what the strength and weakness of the market is. We look for day trades in the futures, swing trades with stock and options. And like I say, these methods are taught right out of these two books. And I'm proud of the book on the left with my face on it. That was written over 11 years ago now. 11 years ago, Candlestick and Pivot Point Trading Triggers. And almost every single thing in that book is put together in either trading systems or what you see even on thinkorswim's platform. Also, Mastering the Stock Market talked a lot about and really delved into breadth analysis as well as how to efficiently use the OBV. And in today's presentation, you notice that I didn't talk about volume histogram. And I explored the reasoning behind that when I came out with Mastering the Stock Market, which is now 3 years old. I can't believe where 3 years have gone. But one of the things that we discovered was that due to the increase in dark pools, due to the increase of optionable trades, it's been masking volume direction on the histogram. So that's why the OBV has been a much more efficient tool in helping to determine trends. So, in any event, I want to say, you guys, there is a link there for this, for helping you guys specifically using thinkorswim's product with the PPS indicator. That's what this course is. It's geared towards thinkorswim. And you can see on the cover of the course right there, it's actually the old school blue thinkorswim. So you know this is thinkorswim's how to utilize that tool correctly there. So I would suggest if you want to delve more into my work, take this course, come in our trading room, put it all together, and let's enjoy the month of November, or say, listen, I want to take your course and I'm going to start in December. Either way, we invite you to learn more to try to help you out with utilizing this tool for stock and futures traders. So with that said, thank you all very much for attending today. I hope you found some value out of it. It was nice that David came in with thinkorswim, and everyone should know that they're always changing things, and even if you don't like the changes, you can revert back to the old school way as we shared with you guys today. So thank you all very much. The link there is, and I'll put it into, someone had asked, where do I find that? It's real simple. It's www.personsplanet.com/pps.html. If you click on that link, right, you're going to come to, it should get to this indicator, that page right there. These two great indicators, and if you want to snatch that up, what you're getting is the thinkorswim discount rate, and it's $237, which includes 30 days in the trading room. Don't buy two like I just did, just buy one. So that is how you get the PPS combined with the Person's Pivots trading course. It's dynamic, and it includes how the Person's Pivots can help determine not just the projected support resistance, but also give you an edge in determining whether or not the market's bullish or bearish. And the PPS, again, how we scan for trades more efficiently, sector analysis, and how we use these moving averages that are overlaid on price to look for retracements and to lean against for entering and exiting trades. So with that said, I thank you all very much, and I look forward to seeing you in our trading room, and wish you guys a great November moving forward. For those that are coming to our 3-day seminar this weekend in Florida, Steve Meyer is going to be down here. Thank you very much, Steve. We will definitely see you, and this will be some more exciting times for us to see what we got in the month of November, that's for sure. So I always look forward to the turns. Just, one of the things that just to share with you guys, when we started off the month of October. We had a pretty amazing run in October. We started off with a list of stocks, right? And this is a sample of the weekly thoughts and observation. We used to send this out and post it on the blogs. Basically, what we went through, we go through what sectors are positive on the year, where we see opportunity, and many of you may be familiar with the term HCD, standing for a high closed doji. This was weekly high closed doji, which means it's a very aggressive buy signal. It means that within 2 weeks we should see positive results. It's an actual great trading system, something I wrote about in that one book over 10 years ago. I mean, these names here, AIV, look at McDonald's, and this was this was sent out that Sunday, October 5th, actually. AIV, McDonald's, SanDisk, Exxon, Microsoft, Paycheck, so that we just really had a lot of names up there that generated actual actionable trades on that week. So we come through what seasonals for commodities are there. We look at what October seasonal trends are happening in the market and all that. And again, for the last few weeks and into even September, we were looking for seasonal strength as we head into October. And by the year's end, I still expect the major indexes to all be back in positive territory, and that's been our call based on the work that we do and put together here. So that's what we kind of get together. This is just a sample of what we put out every week. That's what I meant by that weekly thoughts and observation. That's the report that gets sent by email to our clients. So the course comes with complete 4 weeks of that, or 1 month of the thoughts and observations emailed out to you. It in this course is also explaining what the HCD, LCD setups are. So any event, we hope you guys take advantage of that. And this says, Harold says, surprised if you did not earn the 237 twice over with the recommendation to trade. And this is a steal in his opinion. Thank you, Harold. I appreciate that. Anyway, Thomas P., why did I choose to stop sending this out? Because it wasn't fair to our subscribers and our clients. We sent that truthfully just to our clients, and that's why. So I think a lot of people were finding, if you didn't understand what an HCD is, then, it didn't make sense. So we stopped sending that out, and we just keep that exclusively for our clients. So with that said, everyone, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you found value in today's presentation. You guys, we'll see you on the flip side. Take care, everyone. Thank you. All right, so I just want to say thank you all very much. I switched headsets. I hope that was loud enough. Obviously, there was the best we could do with connectivity, but this was recorded, and we'll go through some of the things on how to utilize those scans in the PPS, and I hope you guys
that is a very incredible value there that Thinkorswim has with the PPS allowing for running scans there. So with that said, you guys, thank you all very much, and we will see you again. Just as a reminder, it was recorded, and that's me saying good night, everybody. So thank you.